Banff Reserve in Alberta, Canada enters spring. The forest revives after the harsh cold months. Green spreads across the valley, wildflowers bloom, and birds chirp to each other in the peaceful morning. This place was once home to dozens of grizzly bears, but the number has declined sharply over the years. Now there is only one young female bear left, named Aurora, who carries the hope of restoring the species. Aurora was fitted with a tracking collar, and ranger stations scattered across the country tracked her movements every day. Leading the conservation team is veteran ranger Ethan Blake, who has lived in the Banff forest for 30 years. One morning, the camera captured Aurora mating with a male bear from the northern forests. Good news spreads across the station. Aurora is pregnant for the first time, a new hope for the entire ecosystem. Still, the worry was there. She had absolutely no pack to back her up. Ethan and the conservation team plan to closely monitor Aurora throughout her pregnancy. After just a few months, Aurora's belly had grown unusually large, raising concerns that this was a case of multiple pregnancy. She moved less, often finding thick grass and cool crevices to rest for hours. Thermal imaging cameras showed Aurora digging small holes, piling up leaves and hay, clear pre-spawning behavior. The GPS strapped to her neck showed she paused for too long in a small canyon surrounded by maple trees. One April afternoon, Aurora lay motionless for more than 20 hours, breathing lightly and occasionally scratching the ground. Ethan alerts veterinarian Clara Morgan, and the two set out to check on the emergency. The afternoon was calm, the forest was wet after last night's rain, the forest path was covered with wild yellow flowers and young leaves. Arriving there, the light shone through the bushes, revealing Aurora lying on her side, her body soaked in blood. Clara urgently checked from a distance, whispering, "She is giving birth, but something is very wrong." The two cubs had been born, but Aurora was panting and convulsing, showing no signs of stopping. Ethan and Clara decide to intervene right in the forest that is slowly sinking into darkness. The entire reserve held its breath watching the perilous birth in the peaceful spring scene. Clara injected a drug to help the uterus contract and checked Aurora's blood pressure via a handheld device. The mother bear growled softly but did not resist, her weak eyes seemed to beg for help from humans. About half an hour later, the third cub was born, weak, covered in fluid, and making no sound. Next came the fourth, legs still twitching, rolling to one side through the thin weeds. Clara frowned, "Not good. It seems there's still more in her stomach." Ethan shined the light on his abdomen, eyes wide, there was movement, the fifth child was coming out. The group was stunned when the sixth cub emerged, its skin wrinkled and purple. Aurora's breathing gradually weakened, blood continuously seeping out under the thick, wet grass of the spring forest. Two of the six were completely immobile, without any vocalizations or response to massage. Ethan held one, gently rubbing his chest with a warm towel to stimulate his heart and lungs. Clara resuscitated Aurora while signaling for emergency breathing equipment. The sound of cicadas echoes in the treetops, below is a relentless battle for life. Amidst the green of spring, life and death are struggling every second. Clara used chest massage techniques, while Ethan tried to warm the baby with his hands. A faint cry rang out, the first of the two weak cubs was breathing again. The other remained motionless, until Clara gently blew air into its nose through a small tube. After 20 tense seconds, it stirred and opened its eyes weakly, the whole group burst into tears of relief. Aurora is still unconscious, but her vital signs are gradually stabilizing thanks to medication and 4 fluids. The two weakest cubs, tentatively named Leaf and Clover, will be brought in for rescue. The remaining 4 were placed close to their mother, lightly covered with hay to keep them warm. Clara checked again, confirming that there was no longer a fetus in Aurora's belly. The sky gradually brightened, the first rays of sunlight shone through the lush canopy of leaves. Aurora opened her eyes blearily, lightly touching her head to one of the ones that was snuggling against her belly. The rangers quietly withdrew, giving the mother and cub time to rest in peace. A helicopter took Leaf and Clover to a rescue center in the jungle south of the reserve. Doctors immediately closely monitored the fragile lives of these two cubs. That night, Ethan did not sleep, still watching the camera recording Aurora and the other 4. You know, giving birth to 6 cubs is almost unheard of in wild bears in North America. Aurora recovered faster than expected. After only 3 days she was able to walk and forage for young bamboo shoots near the cave. She let out deep cries as if searching for her 2 missing children. Ethan knew she missed her baby. The scent and sound were things no mother bear could forget. At the rescue station, Leaf and Clover are given constant care with warm, protein-rich milk replacer. A week passed and both started crawling, meowing and responding well to light. Clara nodded in confirmation. They can come back to Mom. Ethan decided to personally take them back to the cave area where Aurora was staying. Along the way, they sprinkled Aurora feathers around Leaf and Clover so that their mother could easily recognize their scent. As the car stopped, Aurora stepped out from the bushes, her eyes focused. She approached slowly, sniffing carefully at each baby that was placed on the green grass. There was no roar, no tension, just a light lick to Leaf's head and then Clover's. She turned back, roaring softly, calling the remaining 4 out of the cave. All 6 of them surrounded Aurora, as if they had never been apart. The story of Aurora giving birth to 6 cubs and receiving them all back spread throughout the conservation community around the world. Many international organizations have offered financial and professional support to protect this group of young bears. Experts confirm this is the rarest sextuplets ever recorded in Canadian grizzly bears. Banff Conservation Area Management expands surveillance area, adds automated biocameras. Aurora is seen as a symbol of revival of the old-growth forest threatened by climate change. Leaf and Clover, once the weakest, are now the 2 fastest-growing of the 6 siblings. Ethan and Clara were honored at the National Wildlife Conservation Conference. A film crew from Europe came to film the extraordinary journey of Aurora and her cubs. Volunteers and young researchers from all over flocked to Banff to take part in the long-term project. Faith in grizzly bear recovery rekindled by snowless spring. One late spring afternoon, Ethan stood on a green grassy hill, watching Aurora play with her 6 children in the forest. The late afternoon sunlight filtered through the trees, drawing shadows of the little bears on the damp ground. Clara stepped forward and whispered, "We have helped nature write a new chapter." Ethan smiled. It all started with the courage of a single mother. And then they fell silent, listening to the rustling of leaves, the sound of life reviving intensely.